First order of business, if you can, please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a brief agenda tonight, one item. Appeal number 2958. The applicant, Peck Son, property located at 118 West Beech Tree Lane and zoned R4, seeks a variance from Code Section 280-30.c to encroach into the front yard setback area. Good evening, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Now, while I understand that previously, this board has heard part of your case and part of the argument. We have one new member, Mr. Hirsch, who is somewhat familiar with your case. This is the only item. We have nothing behind you. So I wouldn't exactly say start from scratch, but tell us again what you want to do, and you'll need to be sworn in first.
I do.
And state your full name, please.
My name is Peck Son.
Use the microphone, sir, the mic.
Yeah, my name is Peck Son.
Okay, and please describe for the board the work that you want to do at your property at 118 West Beech Tree Lane, and we'll talk about the variance that is required.
Okay. Instead of I'm talking, do I ask my son?
If you would like your son to speak on your behalf, that is fine.
Okay.
But he also should be sworn in.
You do solemnly swear or affirm this testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
And your name again, please?
Andrew Sohn. So my dad's property, he would like to put in a front porch area. He went over a few of the reasons why he would like that. Aesthetic pleasing, fits in with the local area, but the main reason I think is due to an illness my mom has and a current illness my father has. We would really like to have a wheelchair access porch, which creates a little distance. I have some documents that show.
If you have any you want to share with us, fine. If it otherwise can be put on the table and projected onto the screen.
We have more copies. You distribute all the copies?
If you do have copies of that, it would be appropriate to share them with us. Please proceed.
So the drawing is just a drawing of the aspect of what the porch from an overhead view on the bottom part. The right-hand area shows the wheelchair access and how it's going to be designed. As you can see, it takes up most of the room for that distance and that's why we're asking for that variance. And what we based that grade upon was some disability regulations in terms of like it's a 1 to 12 slope or a 2 to 12 slope. So for public properties, it's a 1 to 12 ratio, but for home residents, you use it to 2 to 12 ratio, and that's what we used to get to that distance. So obviously, as you can see, to get to that proper height, there we need that, and you need that extra space to be able to, once you're up on that height, to be able to turn the wheelchair around. So that's the main point of the distance in the area of the porch area.
Okay. I see you've been joined by your contractor. And plans had been submitted previously in connection with your prior appearances here. And Is there a single plan that reflects not only the ramp, but also the proposed dimensions from the street?
From the street, you have it?
It should be on that.
Well,
From the surveyor?
what I'm looking at here is
Sorry, yeah, it should be on that plan.
Okay,
To swear them again?
please.
I do. If you raise your hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give
I do.
and your name again?
Mike Monahan?
Okay, Mr. Monahan, what I'm looking at here has zoning variance plan by Walsh and Associates dated September 10th, 2015. And there's a proposed deck here, but I guess my question is, since this was done back in September, have there been changes?
Yes.
Okay. And was there any subsequent iteration or version of this plan done since the September?
This is the revised, I'm sorry, for the plot plan, no, that is the only one. I mean, it actually was updated with more information that Mr. Kachansky actually asked for.
Am I looking, I mean, this I pulled out of my personal files. Is this the most?
I have the township file up there. I mean, I can take a look at it. Whatever was submitted with the application was provided to the board. I believe the additional information I was looking for from the initial submission was dimensions. I don't know if those dimensions at that time are still applicable to what they're proposing now.
By the way, I do have letters from the neighbors, and that's why
Okay,
I was late.
hold on a second, we'll get to that.
Okay.
What I'm struggling with is creating a record with enough precision to reflect what it is you're seeking authority for, so that, for example, the township in administering this can say, okay, you've built what has been approved.
Can I look at the large document that you're?
Sure.
the differences are?
It says right there, 18 feet. It says it right on this plan right here. Let's move this here. It says it's 18 feet from the porch to the right-of-way.
And that has not changed?
No.
Okay, so the ramp essentially is within the space that was requested originally in terms of the encroachment into the setback.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, there's nothing about the ramp that's pushing it still
Pushing it
closer to
further,
the
no.
street.
No, it's exactly the same.
All right, thanks for that clarification.
So then we could approve it on the basis of so that if the board were to grant approval, we could say no closer than 18 feet to the line and
Yes.
not outside the box that's shown in the September plan. And
That's correct. That would work.
So the only, just for pure clarification, the only thing I would say that's different on this plan, and I don't know if you can zoom in, there's little indentations on the porch area, which I think were going to be columns. That's no longer, that's actually extended, but that's not going beyond the 18 feet distance from the street.
So in the plan where there's little bushes, that's where you're
Right.
talking about, where it bumps out, so
That's
it's
basically going
even.
to flat, yeah, even there.
Okay.
I just want to make sure everything's clear.
Yeah.
See how it's got these indications on the side, now it's bumped out, so the front is all 18.
I had interrupted you, and you indicated that as additional evidence, you had some,
I did have letters that I brought to the last meeting, and I went back to the office again. Can't find it. But I had letters from neighbors approving, they give their approval. Anyway, that's. Did have approval letters from the neighbors.
But you don't have them tonight.
This is our third time here.
Okay. Do the other board members have any questions and clarifications regarding what's being proposed?
Not really, it's under construction, is that correct already?
The whole home is under construction.
The house is under construction. There's been a hold on this until the variance will be
So
approved.
the pictures that we saw, when were those taken?
Yeah, use your mic. You need to be-
Yeah, the home is under construction. I mean, because we're renovating the entire house and adding on to it.
These pictures that we have, are these the condition, or is the construction
No,
almost
it's further along than
complete?
that.
Huh?
No, it's further along than that.
Interior of the house.
The interior of the house is done.
The porch area.
The porch area, you're just waiting to complete that.
And one thing I was wondering, are there no other access points to the house for a wheelchair to enter the house?
For a wheelchair? No.
Okay.
There is no other access.
So you can't enter through the garage or
There's an
something?
entrance at the garage, but it has steps, a couple steps to go through there.
Okay. And would it be impossible to create a ramp where there's those steps in the garage?
Using that 2:12 ratio, it would basically span the entire garage floor area.
Okay.
I have a question of Mr. Kachansky on the topic of sort of notice. In a circumstance like this where there was the two continuances, presumably the neighbors received the letters regarding the initial hearing back in November. Would there have been any subsequent notice to them?
There were no subsequent notices sent, nor I believe are we required to. We send the initial one, and then we postponed it at this hearing, which then basically is notice. If somebody was interested in the first meeting, they would have had that. The only thing that we do put out, we do publish our agenda, which is slightly different than the notice. The notice gets advertised, the agenda, and the posting in the library will include this agenda item on there, and that's also on our website.
All right, thank you. And a question for the solicitor. Here, where the proposed variance is sought to address accessibility issues, I mean, just give us sort of a little bit of hornbook in terms of what standard a board should apply as, you know, in the context of hardship, et cetera.
Well, it's and interestingly, these state standards for this dimensional variance, for which this is an unnecessary hardship, less than for a use variance, minimum relief, and no injury to the community. However, the federal standard for the Fair Housing Act, which trumps local law, is that we are supposed to make reasonable accommodations in our regulations, including specifically zoning by name, so as to permit disabled or handicapped persons to have an equal opportunity to housing. And the cases on that are basically that it is a reasonable accommodation if it doesn't unduly impinge on the zoning scheme. Now, a use variance, putting a car wash in a residential area, would unduly impinge. But here, I think that this might be held to be a reasonable accommodation. And so you're going with the federal standard, which is not the traditional state zoning standard of hardship, minimum relief, and the injury to the community. Although I think that in this case, there seems to be very little interest in the community, by the community, which I would, take it as, somewhat evidentiary that this isn't going to create havoc with the neighbors.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to place into evidence or to share with the board?
No. nothing.
Okay.
You need to mark their.
Yes. For clarity of record, I would suggest if you could return that to me. Thank you. That the zoning variance plan of Walsh and Associates for this property dated September 10th, 2015, be one.
I already have it actually labeled, C2.
Yeah, okay, fine. To confirm that is two. Now, what, in your file, what's the last one you have?
If you just give me it. Of course, the file explodes when I at least want it to. The last thing there are a bunch of photographs, and the most recent one, I believe, is A13.
Okay, so A13 being the
Yeah.
last one entered in the prior portion of this case. A14 will be the McIntyre Apron Associates PC plan, the porch plan and elevation with a most recent date of 12/16/2015, and A15 will be the wheelchair ramp slope guide of Disability Systems, Inc. Okay.
Excuse me, where do you see that revised date on this plan?
The
It-
right-hand bottom corner.
It is extraordinarily small print.
It's just above the A8.
I have 5/21/215, there's got to be something.
Then at the top of that panel, there are a series of amended dates. And the most,
I see, 12, there we go.
okay, so with that, I'll open, I'm sorry, I should have confirmed. Do members of the board have any more questions of the witness?
I have
Witnesses?
the first one is, they've testified on the record, they're going to build in accordance with A14, but no closer than 18 feet. So is that the case?
Correct.
Okay, so that
Okay.
would. Secondly, Mr. Son, do you adopt as your own the testimony given by your son and by your contractor?
Yes.
Any other questions?
One other question, and this may seem obvious. Mr. Sohn, do you live in this house? Like, is this your primary residence?
Yeah, was a primary use for 30 years.
Okay, and you still live there now?
No, because of renovation, I'm staying with my son.
Right now, obviously.
But the
you-
intention is to return? Just wanted to make sure, okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions of the witness? Okay. That being said, so, the question is, what is the identification of the previously submitted exhibit which has that dimension on it, the 18 feet? A2?
A2.
A2. Okay. So with that clarification, does anybody want to make a motion?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to grant the requested variance wherein the setback encroachment may not exceed the 18-foot setback as shown in Exhibit A2, with the exception that the front of the porch will be a rectangle instead of having the notches as pictured.
Is there a second to the motion?
I second.
You need-
I second.
Is there any discussion? I will note that I'm in agreement with the motion, given the particular circumstances that you're operating under and the benefit to you in terms of the handicapped access. And I wish I had the letters, but nobody's hearing objections, so that's significant. Okay, so we have a motion which has been seconded before us for consideration. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
No opposed. It passes. You have your relief. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
That being our only item for consideration, that will bring the January 21st, 2016 meeting of the Radnor Township
Mr. Chairman,
Hearing Board to
Mr.
a
Chairman,
close. Oh,
before you, just for some future meeting conflicts, your meeting on March 17th and April 21st will be held down in the police roll call room. This room has been pre-booked, so,
is there a party on the 17th?
I'm sorry?
Some people consider that a holiday.
No. It's just there's going to be an internal conflict, so we're getting bumped down to the police roll call room, but things will stay as we need
Okay.
to.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, meeting's closed. Thank you.
Thank you.